Hello, my name is Vladislav. You can write it as Wolislav. Today we're gonna talk about soccer and the basics of it. We're gonna cover everything in this series, and we'll start from the heart of soccer, the heart of every club, of every country, their stadium. Stadiums all around the world have different purposes, but soccer stadiums are probably the most packed ones. Biggest stadium in Europe is Camp Nou, the FC Barcelona stadium. The second biggest one, I think, if I'm right, is Wembley. Camp Nou has a capacity of over 100,000 people, but I don't think it ever has been filled. Wembley has a capacity of 94,000 people, but tickets do sold out for different matches on stadiums, but they're never filled. That's because of safety measures. Stadiums are the heart of the club, are their home ground, home turf, if you want to call it. That's where teams play their home games. That's what they call it. In an usual 38 match league season, 18 of their matches are on this turf, on their stadium. Like, for example, FC Barcelona play their 18 league matches on Camp Nou. Like, for example, FC Barcelona. They play in several different competitions. The League Cup, Copa del Rey, King's Cup. We will call it, because that's what the translation is. They usually play in Champions League, which I'm gonna explain in a later video what it is. They also play like Club World Cup if they won the previous Champions League, but I'll get to this in another video. So yeah, they usually games are split evenly. Half your games on your home, other half on the away. Also worth to mention is that when you play on your home stadium, you just get your fan support that boosts players' morale. They play better, they perform better. So playing on home turf is really, really, really vital for winning. It's important to play well on away turf, but you don't want to lose on your home ground. That's gonna be bad. And usually top teams, top 1% of teams, should I call them, they win all their matches on home ground. For example, Liverpool, Barcelona, Real Madrid, despite the fact that they lost some this season. Barcelona, for example, haven't lost I think a Champions League home game for 5 or 6 years. Even if a team is bad, they have a boost playing on their home side. And what about the away side? What about going to play on the other team's stadium? Well, that usually the fans split like this. 90% of the stadium is packed with the home team fans, and the other 3% are packed by the away team fans. Tickets are usually distributed by clubs themselves, so there is a limited tickets for both home and away team. So yeah. For neutral fans, there is not really a section where to put neutral fans in. Like, you should probably, if you go on a league match, I've been to Tottenham Fulham 2 years ago. I went in the Tottenham side because sometimes if you're a neutral fan, or if you're not a big fan of the club visiting, it's not worth going to the visiting section, because sometimes there are fights. It's no good, and I'm fully against this. I'm fully against racism, of course. This is a very, very bad thing. Uh, it should be. I don't. We live in the 21st century. I don't think it should be a thing. But for example, I'm gonna reveal. I'm from Bulgaria. My home country played England. What was it? 6 months ago, 7, 8. I don't remember. We lost 6-0. The match was terrible for us. Our team is bad, but I won't cover that now. The match was stopped 2 or 3 times because some idiots. I'm sorry. Some vandals were showing racist signs. That itself is just. And English media slammed us for being animals, which I completely understand. They have the power, they can do it. So yeah, I mean, it's 21st century, rules should be enforced. But that's another topic for a later video. Stadiums. Most the European and South America stadiums are nothing compared to American stadiums. That's something you should note. Like, American stadiums are state-of-the-art facilities. I can't deny that. I really can't. They have several. I mean, I think 5 or 6 stadiums above 100,000 capacity, and my most favorite stadium is the Mercedes-Benz Stadium I think it was at Atlanta. I can check for you now. Mercedes Stadium. Yep, Mercedes-Benz. Yep, Atlanta, Georgia. I was right. It was completed in 2017. It's so good. I'm a knave. That's what I can say. I mean, compared to my small country, our biggest stadium's capacity is I think 30,000, and I don't think we've filled it since 1994, which is a story of itself, which is another idea for a video, which I'm gonna present in another day. So yeah. Despite the big stadiums, America is not really a great football country. And we'll cover that again in another video. Also, I want to mention, I'll probably not concentrate as much on South American, Asian, African football. I'll concentrate on European football because that's what I know, that's what I've grown up with. I know a lot about it. I can explain with days what is going on here. But I'll probably also have some... That was my cat, sorry. But I'll probably also have some videos covering South America, Asia, Australia. I'm mainly covering Europe just because the level of soccer here, it's miles above every region. Asia is not really much of a factor. Australia isn't really too. The only other region Europe can be compared to is probably South America, because I'll also explain. I'm sorry I started with stadiums, but I also want to explain about the soccer, the different, what should I call them? Groups, organizations that control the teams in a region, like UEFA, for example. UEFA is the Association of Football for Europe. Then we have CONCACAF, which is for North America, I think. Let me see. Give me a minute. Not a minute. Yeah, you'll see it. We have Asian Football Confederation, which is for the Confederation for Asian countries and their respective leagues. We have CAF, which is a Confederation of African Football. We have Europe, which is UEFA, as I already said. You have the North and Central America, CONCACAF. I already mentioned that. I might have misunderstood it, which is the Confederation of North, Central America, and the Caribbean. You have Oceania, which is Australia and the surrounding islands. OFC it is called. And also you have the Confederación Sudamericana de Fútbol, which is CONMEBOL, which represents the South American football countries. Probably South America has the greatest national teams, but not the greatest club teams. I'm gonna include in this video the difference between a club team and a national team, just because I want to. I don't want to make it into another video. So a club team is like FC Barcelona. It's controlled by a person or persons. They make transfers. They transfer players in and out. I'll get into transfers later. They can sell. They can buy players. They play in the league, their own country league, the Champions League, their cup league. So yeah, you also have the national teams. You can play in the national team despite playing in the club team. For example, if I was a Bulgarian playing in FC Barcelona, I'll play both for Barcelona and for the national team. The interesting thing about national team is that the players are selected by the manager or the senior trainer. So if you're a good player, good player, you probably get picked in your national team, but the matches are not as often seen. Like the major tournaments are for Europe, for example, is the newly Nations League, which was introduced a year ago, and with the winner of Portugal. We also have the Euros, which are like every region has its own tournament. Africa has one, Oceania has one, Asia has one, and South America has one. Yeah, I'll have to make a separate video for to explain everything in depth for tournaments. So yeah, you have the Euros and you have the biggest of them all, the World Cup. So in my personal opinion, the World Cup is the most prized trophies of them all. I must admit, it's better than Champions League, it's better than Club World Cup, which is a thing we'll get into another time. The World Cup consists of 32 teams competing for probably the most important team trophy in football, in soccer, football, however you call it. It's hard to get there. Bulgaria hasn't been there since 1998. Major nations always win it. For example, last winner was France. The past winners were Germany, Spain, France, Italy, Brazil. They are the dominant sides. In the World Cup, there are not really much surprises. Mainly major nations win. England has won it once, despite being where origins of football come from. We're saying origins. That's what our next video is gonna be about. Origins of football. Really great video. I recommend watch it. I'll stop with this one for now. Hope you liked it. Hope you understand everything. It was probably a bit chaotic, but I think I explained everything well. I covered the basics, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, and Carry on.